Welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. Let us start with the snippets, but today's front page are rather different. You may ask me, sir, how is it different? Half of the front page deals with one particular topic. Usually it is not like that, and not too many words to learn, and only a few headlines. Half the page, one particular article, related to one particular article. But here we have something to learn. What is the first one here? Simpler process. Simple words. Budget 2026, basic customs duty axed for a range of items. If at all there is a word, important word, that is axed. Axed means what? In this context, to cut down, to reduce, or to cut down, to diminish. Axed for a range of items. There's another word, a range of items. Not on one or two, but many. Then we use the word range. Otherwise, nothing to learn. Coming to the next one, 15.1% increase in defense spending in financial year 27 compared with financial year 26. It talks about defense spending. So there should be some justification. And what is that justification? Major hike post-Operation Sindoor. Perhaps based on this, major hike. Hike has two meanings. One meaning, sudden increase. We should also think of words like surge and hike, sudden increase. Spike also you should think of. What is the other meaning of hike? When it comes to walking long distances, there are two words you have to think of. One is hiking, the other one, trekking. Trekking goes more with mountain regions. Hiking goes more with lowland areas. You should also think of one expression, hitchhiking. What is the meaning of hitchhiking? It was very popular in the past in the US, no longer. On the highways, youngsters, they would travel long distances. They would ask truck drivers for a lift and move from one state to another state. That is known as hitchhiking. That you should recollect. Post, after Operation Sindoor, major hike. 4.4% effective capital expenditure as a percent of GDP in financial year 27. Effective. Then you should think of two words. Effect, effect. Effect is a verb. Effect can be a verb, can be a noun. Usually used as a noun, sometimes we use as a verb. Highest share in at least 8 years. Otherwise nothing to learn. 1.96% share of health expenditure in overall budget in financial year 27. Goes with health expenditure. Public health is very important. Allocation to health budget remains low. There is one important word, allocation. Headline is in present tense. Based on that, remains low. High, low. Remains low. Allocation, usually it goes with funds, money. And important article, you may ask me, sir, why is this important? I always tell students, when it comes to important areas, important topics, I've created the acronym SLEEPS. And based on that, I usually give about 50 topics. And among the, if you take all the 6 areas, I give the first position to economy. Indian economy especially. Both are important, Indian economy, global economy. And any article related to Indian economy, very important. This goes with budget, obviously very important. That's all. And what is the main thing over here? CapEx, capital expenditure scale up. Scale up means increase. And you should read, every day it is at 9 a.m., only for today it is at 1 p.m. Please make a note, all of you. Our regular students know, regular time, the Hindu editorial analysis, 9 a.m. every morning, but only for today it is at 1 p.m. Nothing to learn as such. Coming to the other headlines, here we have tax devolution for states at 41%. South gets share hike. Again, we have got the word hike. But one important word is here. What is that? Devolution. Devolution means a delegation. You delegate your work to someone. And you can also say giving the power to someone, sharing the power. We use the word devolution. My pleasure. hike increase. Coming to the next one, rare earth corridors to cut Chinese imports. Corridors. Corridor means pathway. And here, not literally the passage, or you can say the supply chain, all these rare earth corridors to cut Chinese imports. When you read this, you should understand we have been importing from China and we want to cut down importing rare earth from China. That's what it means. Coming to the next one, the last one rather, accessible tourism no longer a niche area but a mainstream imperative, Kerala CM. I always tell students when it comes to economy, three topics are very important because they fetch foreign exchange. What are the three topics? One is foreign direct investment, second one, tourism industry, third one, foreign trade. All the three are very important. And this one deals with tourism industry. What are the important words? Accessible tourism. Access takes the preposition to. Access to the CM, access to the power, access to resources, access to information. And niche, an important word, goes with business and marketing. Imagine a company produces, an industry produces soaps for children, not for all the categories, only for children. They market that soap only for children. Then it is called niche marketing. Specific, what does it mean? Specific. And mainstream, imperative. Imperative means something important, vital, crucial. And when you see the word mainstream, you should think of when you take a country, you have the culture, and many people follow that culture that is known as mainstream. But every society has certain segments or populations, and they're not part of the mainstream. For example, tribal people. When they're not part of the mainstream, we use words like isolated, alienated, and usually these people are very poor. For those people, we use words like downtrodden, underprivileged, backward, grassroots level. All these words you have to recollect. Mainstream culture, mainstream imperative. What happens here, if you read this article, you will get an idea about that particular context. That means Kerala state and known for tourism, known as God's own country. But you have to take a holistic approach. What is this holistic approach? When you read an article like this, you have to ask yourself, you have to introspect, do I have the information about tourism industry in general? Then today you are so lucky, Google tourism, Indian tourism industry. Then read the article. Once you read the article generally about Indian tourism, you get all the lexical terms, word combinations, related idioms and phrases, and that awareness is important from the exam point of view. Never take an isolated approach, always take a holistic approach. That's all from the front page. Now let us go to today's editorial. Today's editorial is all about economic survey. Two editorials, one goes with the budget, the other economic survey. I've chosen this one. Usually any article related to economy, we don't come across a lot of words because articles related to economy, budget, use a lot of facts and figures. But on the contrary, today we have got 14 words, though it is about economic survey. So important, I felt. Let us start with effective vocabulary or editorial vocabulary. Level-headed. Level-headed is an important word. It goes with level-headed person, level-headed behavior, level-headed thinking. So many words are there. Level-headed thoughts. And you have to think of words like level-headed means what? Balanced, poised, composed, mature. All these words you have to think. Level-headed person, mature, composed, poised. Part of speech adjective, calm, sensible, and able to make practical decisions even in difficult situations. When you are exposed to a difficult situation, you make practical. What is the other word for practical? Pragmatic. Pragmatic means practical. Then we can use the word level-headed. Simple word you have to remember, mature. I will talk to the technical person. I have seen this. I think Saturday also, last week, some students requested, please turn on caption, sir. I'll talk to the technical person. I'll make sure that happens, but not during the session, after the session. A level-headed leader avoids impulsive decisions. Another important combination, level-headed leader. Leaders should always be level-headed, avoids impulsive decisions. What is the meaning of impulsive? Based on emotions. Spontaneous decisions, we use impulsive. And here you have to think of whims. And one important idiomatic expression, what is it? Whims and fancies. He acts or he takes decisions based on his whims and fancies. Means what? Emotions, not based on reasoning, not based on rationality. Eschew, another important word, level-headed. Eschew means part of speech verb. To deliberately avoid or stay away from something. Often something undesirable. Something is not desirable, something is not good. You try to stay away from that. Then you should use the word eschew. And when you see this stay away, you have to think of refrain and also restrain. These two take the preposition from. Refrain from, restrain from. Avoid something. Yes. Eschew. To deliberately avoid or stay away from something, often something undesirable. Example, the committee eschewed emotional arguments. When you see the word argument, you have to think of the subtle difference between discussion and argument. Discussion is objective, means factual, and argument is subjective, means personal. These two terms are very important, subjective, objective. Subjective means what? Personal. And usually arguments are based on subjective opinions. And a discussion is based on objective opinions. What does it mean? Based on facts and figures. To deliberately avoid or stay away from something. The committee, someone has already responded. I appreciate that student. Committee is abstain, also you have to think of, very good. Restrain. Restrain, restraint noun form, restrain verb form. Good, I appreciate that. Committee is a collective noun. You have to recollect as a smart learner important examples. Committee, jury, team, staff, family, group. And what are the two rules we have got so many times, all of you know. Usually collective nouns take a singular verb, a singular pronoun. But if the sentence denotes division, the same collective noun takes a plural verb, a plural pronoun. Coming to the next one, flux. Very important. Flux, part of speech, noun. A state of continuous change or instability. Change. What is a continuous change? What is the word you have to recollect? Volatile. And also some people, they keep changing. What are the words you have to recollect? One is fickle-minded. What is the other one? Scatterbrain. Volatile means always changing. And person, someone keeps changing the stand. Today one stand, tomorrow another stand. What do we say? Fickle-minded person, British English. Scatterbrain, American English. And today I tell students the market is in a state of flux. In the past also I would say, but now I reiterate, I emphasize, because if you look at the last 2 years, the main patterns, they have been focusing on phrases, standard phrases. Fillers usually vocab, words, but nowadays fillers are based on phrases. And there's one exam topic, phrase replacement, that is also based on phrases. When you read the newspaper, see, in English we have thousands of phrases, lakhs of phrases, practically impossible to remember. Then comes the question, sir, phrases are important. We have different types of phrases, noun phrases, adjective phrases, adverbial phrases, prepositional phrases. How to learn and remember what are the important ones? Whatever you get in the editorial, same stuff you get in the exam. So when you come across something like this, you have to make a note. In a state of flux. That is an important phrase you have to remember. And we have another word you have to recollect, that is influx. Influx means what? Large number of something. Something in large numbers enters a particular city or enters a particular thing. Influx of multinational companies. Influx of Chinese products. Influx of migrants. This is also an important expression you have to think. Chart out. Here you have to think of the word chartered. Chartered plane. You all know that. Private plane, we use the expression chartered. But chart out is a phrasal verb. To do something, to plan something in a systematic way, we use chart out. And you should also recollect the word streamline. Streamline your efforts. While preparing for competitive exams, you study a lot, you put in a lot of efforts, and you got to be smart enough to streamline your efforts. Means organize. This is an important word, chart out. Phrasal verb. To plan or outline something carefully and systematically. The government charted out a long-term strategy. Planned a long-term strategy. Agile, another important word they have given in bank exams and SSC. Agile means quick in responding. Part of speech adjective. Able to move or respond quickly and easily. Flexible in thinking or action. But when you see respond quickly, you expect some action from someone and you write to them, they respond immediately, they reply. What is the word you think of? Prompt. What is it? Prompt action. But there is another word form you have to know, prompting. Prompt means what? Quick. Swift also you can think of. Very good. Harsha, I suppose. Yes. You have to think of the word swift, swift action, prompt action. And prompting, imagine there's an actor on stage. Imagine I'm an actor, behind me there's a screen. I forgot the dialogue. From the other side of the screen, someone gives me the dialogue. Audience can't make out. And that is known as prompting. Usually we say, prompting is not a good thing. Don't prompt. And perfunctory, an important word which means superficial. Good. I appreciate that. Able to move or respond quickly. Agile policies help businesses adapt to change. When you see the word adapt, what are the words you have to think of? Adapt, adopt, adapt. Agile policies means quick change in policies will definitely help businesses. Adapt means what? To get accustomed to get used to. Adopt, take someone's child, make yours legally. Adapt means skillful. Very good, Vishnu. Adapt driver, adapt cook. Quest. Quest is an important word. It goes with knowledge, excellence, and also quality. Quest for knowledge, quest for standards, quest for quality. Important expressions. Part of speech, noun, it can also be a verb. A long or difficult search for something important. The quest for sustainable development continues. Quest for something good, it goes with something very difficult to achieve. We use the word quest. And the word sustain, what does it mean? Maintain. Sustain someone's interest means what? Yes, quest for, it goes with thirst, hunger. You can use those combinations as well. Good, I appreciate that. Sustainable development, sustainable goals, using the resources wisely. Turbulent, it goes with a flight, a plane. Usually, if you're flying because of clouds or some other reason, there's a lot of disturbance. We use the word turbulence. And you should also think of the word turmoil and also the word chaos. A chaotic situation means what? Complete confusion. Part of speech adjective marked by disorder, instability, or conflict. The country went through a turbulent phase. A typical combination, turbulent phase, means a disturbed phase. Descend, coming down, and what is the opposite word descend? Ascend, going up. Descend and ascend, they are verbs. What are the noun forms? Descent, ascent. Part of speech verb, to move or fall downward, to become lower in status or quality. Chaos descended on the city. Here you cannot take the literal meaning. Here descended on the city means the city has experienced a chaotic situation. Not literally going down, there's nothing to go down as such. There's an important expression you have to remember. Chaos descended on the city, an important phrase, means the city has experienced some sort of chaotic situation. Coming to the next one, scenario. Scenario, simple word, situation. Part of speech noun, a possible sequence of events or a situation considered for analysis or planning. Usually we say present scenario, and future scenario, typical combinations. And this is an important phrase you have to remember. What is it? The worst case scenario must be prepared for. The worst case scenario. Haven, we have got many a time, part of speech noun, a place of safety, refuge, or comfort. Haven for smugglers, haven for something negative usually, but sometimes it goes with nature. Look at this. The island became a haven for migrants. But island, usually we use the word, the island became a haven for exotic species. Exotic has two meanings. One meaning, it means unique. In this context, unique species. And what is the other meaning? Foreign. When we say exotic locations, yes, of course, you can expect every day, Dinesh, every day morning 9 a.m. Do remember. Last week I wasn't well, so the classes were not regular. But from now on, the classes are going to be, editorial analysis sessions are going to be regular. Every morning 9 a.m. Do remember. Haven, exotic means another meaning, foreign. Coming to the next one, merchandise, part of speech noun, can be a verb. Goods that are bought and sold, simple word. The store sells imported merchandise, means what? Imported stuff. Indispensability. Indispensable, we have got many a time. What is the meaning of indispensable? Essential. And indispensability, noun form. The quality of being absolutely necessary or essential. The indispensability of digital literacy is undeniable. Another important expression you have to know. Something is undeniable means what? You cannot deny, you cannot say no to that. Important expression. Coming to the last two words from today's editorial, resilience. We have got many a time, part of speech noun. The ability to withstand the problems, ability to recover quickly from difficulties or setbacks. Imagine you face a lot of problems and you know how to withstand them, you don't give up, then you should use this one. Okay, I will do that. Word profiles. See what happens here. If there are only a few words, I can bring the word profiles. That means a part of speech, meaning, example, word forms, word usage, synonyms, antonyms. But 14 words, we cannot do that. That takes a lot of time. Another important word, populism. No, let me read out the example. Economic resilience helped the nation withstand shocks. Populism, an important word, part of speech, noun. A political approach that seeks to appeal to ordinary people, often by opposing elites or established institutions. If the governments do something for the ordinary people, grassroots level people, we use this. Populism can influence policy decisions, obviously. That's all about editorial vocabulary. Let us go to editorial analysis. What is a stimulus? A job well done. When you read this, you should understand the editorial or the writer has taken a positive stand regarding something. But a job well done regarding what? On the Economic Survey 2025-2026. Then you should understand it is all about the Economic Survey 2025-2026. What is the main idea? The Economic Survey has a framework for two dimensions, economic and governance strategy. The survey has provided a framework keeping two dimensions in mind. One is economic strategy, the other one governance, administration strategy. Let us see how it starts and how it goes about. Through his Economic Survey 2025-26, Chief Economic Advisor, you got to be careful with the spelling. Chief Economic Advisor, CEA, V. Ananta Nageshwaran, has once again, has shown, present perfect active voice, the value of level-headed analysis, balanced, composed, poised analysis, while eschewing, while avoiding sensationalism. The person, the CEA, has eschewed, avoided sensationalism. He has provided with a level-headed analysis, easy to understand. With the global economy in flux, another important phrase you have to remember. In flux means in turbulence, volatile. While with the global economy in flux and the Indian economy displaying stability, on the one hand, global economy is in flux, means volatile. On the other hand, Indian economy is stable, displaying stability. The need of the day, an important expression you have to remember. You can also say the need of the hour, the need of the day, the need of the hour, or the need of the situation. Is pointed analysis of current data for future policy. Current data for future policy. Yes, Vishnu. Immediately you have to think of datum, singular, data, plural. But data is also used as a collective noun. That means data can take a singular verb, it can take a plural verb. And let me tell you guys, it seems RRB clerk mains exam, English section, they gave questions based on nouns of Latin and Greek origin. Nouns of Latin and Greek origin, they don't take S or ES. And important examples I usually give: criterion, phenomenon, memorandum, alumnus, datum. They have given these in the exam. And our students must have answered effortlessly. It has charted out, planned out a broad framework for a medium-term economic and governance strategy, highlighting the concept of an entrepreneurial state that is more risk-taking, agile, and willing to experiment. Some people try to experiment. They want to learn from the failures. It talks about all those aspects. The CEA is pushing for a forward-looking dynamic shift, pushing, expecting change, making someone do something, under compulsion. Pushing, usually it goes with everyday English. Someone puts a lot of pressure on you and demands to do something, then you can say, don't push me. Don't push me means what? Don't put pressure on me. Pushing for a forward-looking dynamic shift to policy making that is willing to fail. This is a bit strange. I'm willing to fail. Usually no one says that. But sometimes it is situation demands, calls for. You have to fail to learn some lessons, important lessons. Willing to fail and learn in the quest for much needed growth acceleration. You are looking for growth acceleration. Then you should be prepared to fail so that you can learn something and push something to a different level altogether. Now, past the turbulent COVID-19 pandemic, past means after. After the COVID-19 pandemic, it is time to look ahead with policy filling the economy's sails. Look ahead with policy filling what? Economy's sails. Means once the sails are fixed, usually it goes with ships. The ships moves smoothly and you can expect some sort of acceleration. You have to take that way. The survey acknowledges, present tense, active voice, that this will not be easy. It won't be easy. Future negative. What could be the reason behind that? Indeed, it assigns a 10 to 20% probability to the global economy in 2026 descending into a crisis worse than that in 2008. I don't know how many of you know 2008 there was a disaster, financial disaster, a recession of the worst kind across the world. Many countries got badly or severely affected. This sentence talks about whatever we are going to see, it is going to be worse than. What is the word here? Worse. Adjective bad. Bad, worse, worst. And yes, you should think of crisis, crisis. That in 2008. Even its best case scenario. Remember, worst case scenario, best case scenario, important phrases, is a worsening of conditions as they were in 2025. Whatever the conditions 2025, going to be worse. Yet, the survey does not paint a favorable picture of India's economy. Here it talks about, on the one hand, globally, some problem is there, but India is stable. Indian economy is stable. In spite of that, yet expresses contrast. The survey does not paint a favorable picture of India's economy. Backed with facts and figures. It also does not shy away, an important expression, shy away, means keep away, avoid something, from pointing out some emerging risks and developing problems. Second part talks about emerging problems and some risks. Let us see what they are. At the macro level, it points out that the falling rupee does not reflect India's economic fundamentals, and the depreciation is due in large part to capital flowing to countries with more developed AI industries and to safe haven assets. Today, you all know the rupee value has gone down. It is almost, when you take the dollar exchange, 91 plus. Here the writer says, what are the reasons behind? The reasons behind, one reason, investments. When you take capital, investments are going to countries, and those countries, they have advanced AI, and also they are going to safe haven assets, assets which are safe. A weak rupee is good for exporters, but India predominantly depends on imports, and those have become more expensive. Imagine Indians, they export more, that is good in a way, but Indian economy, if you look at, imports are more, and because of tariffs and other reasons, that is going to be a problem. If trade negotiations have revealed anything, we have got many a time. What is the meaning of reveal? To disclose, to divulge, to make public. unveil. It is that India is not strategically vital to any merchandise supply chain. Supply chain, if you take India does not play a vital role, then how to address this? To address this and other structural weaknesses, the survey outlines an ambitious plan to focus on strategic resilience and eventually develop strategic indispensability. India should become indispensable, globally speaking, supply chains. That is one approach. It also argues for greater fiscal flexibility for the center to address geopolitical and geoeconomic uncertainties, but simultaneously caution states against the fiscal populism. Survey touches the center and also the states. Center, it says, center has to focus on geopolitical, geoeconomic reasons, and state should focus on fiscal populism, which is very dangerous for the states. But they have been doing that. The reasoning is clear. While the center has managed to more than halve its fiscal deficit ratio in 5 years, center has done well. An increasing number of states have fallen into revenue deficits in this period. What is the reason behind? This cannot be ignored despite the political attractiveness of unconditional cash transfers. It is noteworthy that 4 major states go for elections this year, only one of which is currently led by the BJP. How does the editorial end? I suppose this is the last one. The survey points out several other emerging problems, such as the impact of ethanol production on food security, the real cost of the ongoing shift to renewable energy, the lack of the adequate fodder, and not insignificantly, the impact of compulsive scrolling on smartphones. Compulsive scrolling. When you see the word compulsive, you have to think of, there is one disorder. What is that disorder? Some people, they want to do the same thing repeatedly. And imagine someone wants to wash hands. Usually we wash once or twice. You try to wash many a time. Then we use this one. Compulsory disorder. Compulsive disorder. Each of these merits attention. Here each is a distributive pronoun. After that we have a phrase of these. Because it takes a singular verb, merits attention. Means what? Each one is important. We have to focus on, work on. And the survey has done its job well. Main idea is being reiterated by highlighting them. Swim with the tide. Very good. OCD. OCD means what? Obsessive compulsory disorder. That's all about the editorial. Now let us go to questions based on reading comprehension skill. After that we have mini mocks. Try to answer this question. The phrase level-headed analysis while eschewing sensationalism suggests that the economic survey primarily aims to do what? Very good. I appreciate that. What is the answer? Criticize existing economic policies? No. Present optimistic projections? No. Offer balanced and data-driven policy insights? Answer is C. Very good. No, not B, C. Insight, deep understanding. We have another insight. What is the spelling of that? Insight means what? Provoke. That is a different word altogether. Coming to the next one, according to the passage, the economic survey promotes what? A shift in policy making, that is, what sort of shift is being advocated? Conservative and risk averse. Averse to something means to dislike something a lot. Centrally controlled and uniform? No. What is the next one? Experimental and adaptive. Writer says willing to fail, take the challenges for acceleration. So it means experimental and adaptive, changing, agile, quick in adapting. Which of the following best captures the author's attitude towards India's economic outlook? Towards India's economic outlook, the writer's attitude. These are all too general, highly pessimistic, overly optimistic. Never consider sweeping statements. Cautiously optimistic. Indifferent, no point in writing. Very good. C is the answer. Question number 4. The depreciation of the rupee is attributed mainly to what? Clearly mentioned in the passage. Depreciation, 2 reasons have been given. One goes with capital going to countries where they have advanced AI. The other one, safe havens for assets. Weak domestic consumption, poor export performance, capital movement towards AI-driven economies, and safe haven assets. Clearly mentioned. So what is the answer? C is the answer. Why does the survey caution states against fiscal populism? Clearly mentioned, fiscal populism has resulted in deficit budgets for states. Once you catch that, weakness, not about center state, not about voter participation, it has led to increasing revenue deficits among states. States have a problem. Yes, C is the answer. Let us go to mini mocks. Try to spot the error. First one is error location. No division. Read and try to make out where the error is. Our regular students can make out, can spot the error because I have given many a time. The rules sought to address discrimination in campuses after years of activism, litigation, and tragic suicides. Where is the error? Identify the incorrect part of sentence. I've told many a time, I usually tell students, common error when it comes to campuses. It is not in campus. What is the correct preposition? On campuses. Very good. Vishnu has got it right. Praveen says, seek. No. In campus is wrong. On campus is correct. Remember, common error, people say it is in the campus, wrong. It is on the campus. And people also make the mistake, I live in the 3rd floor. That is impossible. I live on the 3rd floor. And one more example, on the outskirts of the city, not in the outskirts. Replace the underlined phrase with the most appropriate option. The 2012 framework had been almost completely ignored in higher education institutions. You can easily make out, very good, on the outskirts, on campus. Here you cannot use a preposition in, overlooked from, wrong. Grammatically all these are wrong. And brushed off by, double F should have been better. Ignored over, wrong. So what is the answer? The 2012 framework had been almost completely disregarded by higher education institutions. Disregarded by. C is the answer, not B. How come B? Neglected with higher education institutions? No. We need the preposition by, neglected by, disregarded by. By is the correct preposition, grammatically speaking. Fillers, fill in the blank, logical connector. The court stated the rules, them as too sweeping, too general, too broad. Saying what? Before you go to the options, you have to think of a few words. Calling, terming, saying. While praising them as too sweeping, you cannot praise. Terming them as too sweeping. Denying, why should it deny? Opposing to, grammatically wrong. Objecting them, So what is the answer? Terming them. No. Answer is terming them as too sweeping, too general, too broad. Judicial vocabulary synonym. Which option best captures the meaning of chilling effect? This is from Saturday's editorial. If you read the newspapers, you come across this expression, chilling effect. What does it mean, chilling effect? Chilling effect has a negative connotation. Something you get scared when you come across that, you know about that, you get scared, and you don't want to do something like that. It stops you from doing something like that. Based on that, encouraging, deterrent influence, legal irrelevant, neutral irrelevant. Deterrent influence means deterrent, stop someone from doing something. Chilling effect means it makes a negative impact on you, and based on that you get scared, you don't want to do something like that. Then you should use chilling effect. It's a deterrent influence, stopping you from doing something. Choose the best replacement for in good faith as used in the passage. What is the meaning of the idiom? They have done it in good faith. Do something in good faith means what? At the outset, you should understand it has a positive connotation. Under compulsion, under force, negative. With transparency and honesty, both the words are positive. Without hesitation, as per precedent, in secrecy. In good faith means what? With transparency and honesty. Yes, B is the answer. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched, but do remember, before I wind up the session, I would like to tell you guys, every day the time slot is 9 a.m. The Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English, done only in English, no bilingual approach. And every day you get editorial vocabulary, enrichment from the headlines, the front page, and also questions based on comprehension skill. Besides all these, you work on mini mocks, questions based on exam topics. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.